all of that is just a cutout. I mean, the fact is these fact checking groups, they get State Department dollars. They get DoD dollars. We mentioned this on the Friday call, but NewsGuard is funded by the Pentagon. NewsGuard is the advertiser boycotting sentinel. We talked about, I think, on Friday in the context of COVID, right? Like they have a COVID misinformation tracker where they monitor every website that expresses a dissident opinion about masks or vaccines or passports or theories of origin. Any of those that hit a single tripwire in any four of those categories is then filtered into a blacklist database that NewsGuard maintains. NewsGuard then runs that to Google Ads and all the advertiser networks and gets those websites blacklisted for making ad revenue. And it turns around with the other hand and uses its relationships with the tech companies to get all companies who are put on a NewsGuard blacklist algorithmically downranked and nuked into oblivion by having no engagement because they're all banned from news feeds or search bans or ghost bans. And so they scrub them from both social media and from the independent news coterie. And they're supposed to be this omniscient fact-checking organization, but they get their money from the U.S. Department of Defense. By the way, they were cooked. The whole idea for them in the first place was cooked up in October 2017 by Michael Chertoff and Daniel Freed and this whole cabal around DHS. In fact, there's an October 2019 DHS memo, which I'll post in the thread that I have on my timeline right now. This is October 2019, same month that Mark Warner was bragging that he had just shaken down Mark Zuckerberg. And in this DHS memo on tackling disinformation as a whole of society problem, which had the whole DHS framework for looking at domestic disinformation as being part of this disinformation kill chain that you can neutralize in the same way you neutralize a cybersecurity attack. In that same memo, they explicitly call for the federal government to work with news. Now they didn't call it NewsGuard. They called it a private sector companies that apply nutrition labels to independent news in order to determine whether it is a fringe or fake news website. And so that's NewsGuard. That's literally NewsGuard's tagline, is that they apply nutritional labels to independent news sites online in order to provide a nutrition label of whether they're telling the truth or not. And that's literally in the DHS playbook for tackling disinformation as a whole society problem. So you got the DHS and the Pentagon funding a domestic censorship organization so that your blog can't make a profit or can't get click-through traffic from social media, basically to take you out of the domestic social and political equation because you've expressed an idea the federal government finds to be unauthorized.